Shut up and sit down.
Episode 5. We're here.
We are here.
It's not like, we lost half the episode or anything. We're professional. We would never do that.
We would.
Right?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Episode 5, Realest Guys Podcast. I am your host, once again, Mario. Along with me, Josh, Too Good Crocker. Back in the house.
Back in the house? So let's tell them what happened. Just really quick. Kind of giving a little peek behind the curtain. All right.
It's funny because I actually did mention that in the since deleted episode.
You did. In the if you missed what he said deleted episode. So we had to delete an episode. So we lost half of an episode of recording. So here we are again.
But we're professionals, guys. We are in our 5th episode.
Number 5.
5.5.
5.5. We'll call it that.
Yeah, guys. It happens. It happens. So, Raw last night, Monday night, on the 27th.
We will get right into it.
We're just going to get into it. We're going to get right into it. Do it. We're going to get right into it because Seth Rollins got right into it opening the show. Came right out and said what everybody else didn't expect the WWE to do, which was acknowledge the Roman Reigns suspension and, have Rollins kind of gain sympathy for Roman.
I think that's what WWE was trying to do in this deal, was to give Roman Reigns some sympathy for what happened. But I think it was bold, and I think it was a good move by WWE to put it out there.
Yeah,
and dude, everybody knows the whole thing with Seth Rollins when he mentioned, okay, I'm not supposed to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about this. I got a live microphone. Do we got the tweet? Put it on the screen.
And it's on there.
If they want to, hit on some reality a little bit, I was thinking, give it a little bit of time. Say, hey, let's get it on the screen. Let's wait. Do we have the tweet? Where's it at, guys? I'm waiting. Something like that.
It would have been smarter for them to kind of play the I'm not prepared role. Oh, wait, he's going off script. Hold on. That's page 37 of. It was smart of them, like you said. Hit it head on. Everybody was talking about it. We all knew what was going on behind the scenes. What I didn't like is the fact that they did try to gain some sympathy from him. The crowd wasn't having it though.
No,
I wasn't a fan of the crowd overall throughout the show, but this opening segment, I did like the fact that they were like, "No, we're gonna boo Roman." Roman failed the drug test or whatever the case may be. He failed the wellness policy, and we're just gonna boo him, and we're gonna boo him, and we're gonna boo him, and I like that. I did not like how when Dean Ambrose came out later on in that segment, he was like, "Well, yeah, everybody makes mistakes. It's okay because he owned it, so let's forgive him." I fear that the WWE is going to use this suspension. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to use it to gain sympathy for Roman Reigns, and that's just the wrong way to go about it. Yeah,
and there's a few things I want to point out here, okay? One, I posted it on Twitter that this is a perfect opportunity. And again, guys, if you see things posted by us on Twitter, a lot of time I'll be posting on Twitter. I manage the Twitter account, so and you'll see my name, Josh, on a lot of things. So I posted on Twitter picture of Roman Reigns, and this is a perfect opportunity for them to capitalize on Roman Reigns being a heel when he comes back.
Yep.
Okay, so he already has heat on him. Nobody likes you. I've always said it. Give him a reason to boo. And here's my picture. When he comes back, have him just go crazy in that triple threat match. Run roughshod on everybody. Destroy everything, and no matter what the result is, and what show he ends up on, make him completely diss the crowd. Capitalize. One versus all. Continuity. He's got this phrase, one versus all, like Seth Rollins mentioned it. You know, you have friends, you have family. You say one versus all, but it's not shown. So, really, they need to capitalize on this. And I'm almost off my soapbox, Mario. I promise. I'm almost off.
Brother, I've been on my soapbox far too long.
Dean Ambrose. Again, you're going to hear me say continuity a few times in this episode. I'm just going to say that because Dean Ambrose coming out, playing the role of, he made a mistake. He did this, he did that. You know, we all make mistakes. Why not? Let's have some continuity in character, and it's okay to be upset and pissed off, even if you're technically a face character. You know, it's okay. Roman Reigns is your opponent in the coming weeks. Your opponent. Not only that, you gave the guy a dirty deeds last week. So don't come up here and trying to defend the guy.
Yeah, right? No, you're 100% right. I understand the WWE likes to portray their faces, especially their champions, as take on all comers. But dude, Dean Ambrose should be pissed. He's lost to Roman Reigns in the past. He's lost to him. And now there's this cloud of doubt. At least if this was, I don't want to say legitimate sport, but if we use the allegory of baseball, people are infuriated that A-Rod cheated, Barry Bonds cheated, because not everybody was on fair level. Dean Ambrose should be pissed. Right. He should be pissed. And he's not. Everybody makes a mistake, but he owned up to it, so it's all good. That's not how it should be, and that's I mean, if anybody can try and turn a negative into a positive for Roman Reigns, it's Vince McMahon. I mean, seriously, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So we'll see in the coming weeks. He is suspended. First of all, he's going to miss the draft. He's suspended through the draft, and he'll be back. I think his suspension goes up 2 days prior to Battlegrounds. So he's in an interesting spot right now.
Yeah,
and it'll be. We'll see how that plays out. I can see something along the lines of the match starting 1-on-1, and then Roman coming in and cleaning house. And if they do something like that, that's smart booking. But I don't know. I don't know. I have mixed feelings reflecting on it more. Right. How this story is going to progress. Speaking
of the matches being 1-on-1, how Seth Rollins wanted the match. It's staying a triple threat match, but then we had some visitors.
We did. The second hottest, I would argue, second hottest angle in the business right now in WWE is AJ Styles, the Phenomenal One, and John Cena. And they both come out to the ring to try and I don't want to say weasel, but try and maneuver their way into that title match. And Stephanie McMahon, who, truth be told, I'm not too high on her character, and we might get into that a little bit later. I'm not too high on some of her character aspects, but she booked 2 great matches. We'll have Seth Rollins against John Cena. If Cena wins, he's in the match. And then later on, we'll have Dean Ambrose against AJ Styles. And if Styles wins, he's in the match. Those were really our 2 main event matches last night. The one thing that I didn't like about those 2 matches, which were both very good matches, and honestly, Seth Rollins and John Cena stole the show for me. They have amazing chemistry together, and I mean, I could watch them wrestle for an hour. One of those classic Iron Man matches, hour-long time limit type deal. I mean, they're just phenomenal together, no pun intended. But the one problem that I had with both matches is you kind of knew how it was going to end. You know what I mean? The minute that AJ Styles got involved with Rollins Cena, which led to a distraction pinfall victory by Seth Rollins, already alluded to the fact that later on John Cena was going to get his back, and that's exactly what happened. It was pretty paint by numbers. Later on, when Dean faced AJ, John Cena comes out, leads to distraction, and Dean picks up the victory over AJ. So we're still left with the triple threat match as of now, triple threat match at Battleground. So that was my only beef with that stipulation. And I don't know how you feel about that, but
yeah, I agree. It definitely was predictable, but it added to the show, and this show was I gave it like a C.
Oh, it was definitely a filler show.
Yeah, and that's where I was getting at. Is it's a filler show. They can't really devote a lot of attention to new feuds, new storylines, things like that, because everybody's waiting for the draft. And in case people get split, they can't develop too much. So if you look at these episodes in the coming weeks and with those lens of, okay, it's a filler episode, doesn't give WWE an excuse to slack on everything, but it is something that kind of makes it easier to watch these episodes. But again, you know what it reminds me of? When the Lucha Dragons were fighting Kevin Owens and I can't remember who it was, a few weeks back before the Money in the Bank, and they had the stipulation, if Lucha Dragons won, they would be in the Money in the Bank match instead. So we knew Lucha Dragons weren't going to win that match because we knew Kevin Owens and stuff were still going to be, but it was something to add. That's kind of what they did.
Yeah, pretty much. So, you mentioned the holding pattern, and kind of WWE has how they kind of backed themselves into this corner with that. Jumping off of that point, there was we had the return of the highlight reel last night. And WWE not trying to back themselves into the corner with some of these feuds. They went on a tried and true, already built-in rivalry between Sami Zayn and my bae Kevin Owens.
Wait. You know what I'm going to say. I hate that word.
Which one? Kevin Owens?
You want me to say it?
I almost got you to say it.
You almost. Okay, I will say it reluctantly.
No, it's okay. You don't want to say it. I understand. Okay. Let them infer what it is. Anywho, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, just a pre-built rivalry, a rivalry that hits every single point that you want to hit in a feud. The connection to the fans, the connections with each other, the chemistry that they have in ring and on the mic, really was highlighted here in no pun intended, in the highlight reel. I didn't even catch that one, but I like the way Sami Zayn came across. He was aggressive with his words. He came across as more than just the underdog from the underground. He spoke a big game. And that's something we haven't seen from Sammy's character to this point. On the flip side, Kevin Owens did very little talking. Owens is probably one of the best talkers, I think, in the WWE today.
Yeah, it was kind of weird how much he wasn't talking.
I liked it.
But I liked it. Yeah,
I agree. It added something. And Y2J played his part perfectly, being the antagonizer. You gotta drink it in, man.
Jericho juice. I'm sorry. Every time, like last night when he said, "Drink it in, man," or whatever I was just thinking of just Jericho juice.
Oh man,
I don't want any of that.
But speaking of the Jericho juice, Owens and Zayn didn't want it.
No,
because they delivered a twin super kick to Jericho, laying him out, and they kind of gave a look to each other, like, "Yeah, Battlegrounds is going to be," and walked away. Now, me being who I am, I may have read a little too much into it. I saw it more as they're teasing, potentially, if they get drafted to the same show, I can see them becoming a tag team in the WWE.
Yeah. And to your point of them potentially being on the same show, which I could see that too. I think I more see them being on separate shows, only because Sami Zayn, in his promo, he did mention, whether it was written in there or not, he said whether we're on separate shows or whatever, he mentioned something to that effect. I kind of see it going down where I really think they're coming to an end with their feud. We called it a what do we call it?
Can't put me on the spot, man.
Never-ending something or others. I don't know. Shenanigans. So, but anyway, this never-ending battle, good and evil between these guys. I think that's what it was. I think it's coming to an end. I think it'll be good, especially because Battleground is after the draft. I could see it happening. They get drafted to 2 separate shows, and then they fight each other at Battleground, knowing they're going to separate shows and putting on a clinic.
They put it all on the line at Battlegrounds, and it's going to be a great match. I'm anticipating that match probably stealing the show, to be honest with you.
I'm excited.
We had a couple other. We said it was a filler episode, so we get some filler matches. Paige and Sasha. Sasha makes her in-ring return, which was pretty cool. They get a victory over Dana and Charlotte. I'm honestly done with that. I don't care about that storyline. Now, if you want to see women's wrestling getting spotlighted, that Becky Natalya, that was good. That was good energy from Becky. Good aggression. That's the feud to watch in that division, to be honest with you. And I'm looking forward to see how that goes. Titus and Rusev, they continue their feud. Titus comes across as just an angry man.
I'm loving it.
Score. It's
I'm
awesome.
loving me some Titus.
He picks up a count-out victory. It's good to see the balance there. And you know, that's obviously going to be a match that we'll see again here over the next couple of weeks. Enzo and Cass, I'm a little heated just because I think they're better than squashing a couple local jobbers. News came out, and it's a little early, but news came out that Simon Gotch may have gotten hurt during a house show this past weekend, possibly while the Vaudevillains weren't on TV yesterday, and led to this Cass Enzo squash. I said Sasha returned. We also got a couple other returns yesterday.
We did. We
got the greatest thespian known to man in Demon Kane. He came back to the ring.
Yeah.
And we had the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, return not just to the ring, but to WWE TV in earnest. You know, he was doing those Facebook videos. So they had a match. It was for the IC title. And Maurice gets hurt and hurts her ankle. And Miz, being the loving husband that he is, carries her to the back and gets a count-out loss.
I will say this here. WWE had a great opportunity to pick anybody else except for Demon Kane. Anybody else, but they decided to go with him. No one cares. That place was quiet. No one gives a lick. And here's the thing, too. They need to get rid of that ugly wig. Everybody knows that is a wig, and it always ends up falling in like weird spots over his face where he ends up looking like a rooster all the time. And listen, we know he don't got long hair. Give him a mask with his short hair.
Yeah.
Why not?
It worked for Jason Voorhees.
It works.
You know?
I think it freaking works. But anyway.
We're on the subject of returns.
We are.
And you tweeted out something earlier from our account at Realest Guys PC, asking for the fans' take on what their favorite return is. So I'm going to flip it on you. I'm going to flip it on you. What was your favorite return? Be it somebody who was just kind of off, somebody who was off TV for a little bit, somebody who was injured. Your favorite return of all time?
My favorite comeback return, whatever we want to call it, would have to be The Undertaker at WrestleMania 20.
Okay.
That build-up for that match was incredible. The vignettes, incredible. The promos, incredible. It just kept you intrigued. It almost kind of took a little too long for The Undertaker to come back at that time, because everybody was like, okay, it's been like 6 months, or it felt even longer. But I really loved it because he had been that badass Undertaker character for so long, and I was itching for him to come back as the Dead Man, the actual Dead Man Undertaker character. And when he lost in that Buried Alive match, that gave a perfect opportunity. And sure enough, he comes back as pretty much the undead Undertaker now, combining both the badass attire and the old Undertaker persona, and combined them. And Undertaker's done that so many times in his career, but and reinvented himself. But man, that night was awesome. I can picture like I watched it earlier today, just how pumped I was, and just the fear that the Undertaker, Cass, and Kane's soul in that, just, man, it was awesome. So that would be my favorite comeback. And so now I'm going to flip it back to you. Okay. What is your favorite comeback?
See, I make sure to emphasize return, just because when I think of a comeback, I think of, you know, Cena's 5 Moves of Doom. Stuff like that.
My goodness!
Yeah, I know. I'm not right in the head, but it would honestly have to be one of my favorite promos of all time. Is Hollywood Rock coming back to the WWE, and not the I finally come home Rock. I'm talking about in Toronto, the biggest thing to hit Toronto because the Maple Leafs suck. Yay, he said our name. He said that Rock.
Yeah.
That was that moment kind of basically is obviously the starting point, but the highlight for me in terms of Rock's career. I loved Hollywood Rock above anyone else. That was I mean, he was Scott Hall might be my favorite wrestler of all time, Razor Ramon, but at his apex, The Rock when he was Hollywood Rock, dude, hands down, no competition. That promo, just how he was able to control the crowd with a snap of a finger, they coming out cheering there, yeah, and he starts, belittling the city, easy heel heat, but he does it in such an entertaining way that even though it's the tried and true method, it comes across as fresh.
Yeah, it's like, he called us dumb.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are dumb in Toronto. So it's like, you guys are dumb. Boo. In Toronto, yeah. What? I mean, that's awesome. You know what I mean? So, and that's why when you have that it factor, you can't hide it. That's why Enzo and Cass, when they debuted, and Enzo on the mic, and the crowd's cheering, going crazy, and he says, "Hold up, I ain't done," and the crowd just stops. I mean, not to be cliched, but you can't teach that. You cannot teach that, and that's one of the most important things that I think a superstar needs. And with everything that's going on with Roman Reigns right now, and I don't want to pile on the guy, and obviously, I'm nothing really to the guy. He's probably not going to hear this, but I think all these troubles that he's going through right now, these with whatever the situation is with the wellness policy, because it has to be said, that doesn't necessarily mean that he failed the drug test. It could be a whole slew of things that we covered last week. But if he had that it factor, that charisma that I think he does have, he just hasn't tapped into it yet, probably could avoid some of these issues that he's having in terms of crowd reaction and getting the boos and not getting the reaction that he was striving to get. You know what I mean? But anyway, I kind of took a rant there off to the segment. But yeah, The Rock coming back as Hollywood Rock in Toronto, hands down.
On top of that, his theme music when he was Hollywood Rock was probably some of my favorite theme music.
Yeah, that slowed down tempo was pretty dope.
Slowed down.
So, speaking of comebacks, and I know we just went over our favorite returns, Del Rio maybe coming back to the light side.
Yeah, I don't know. He got a pretty nice. He was getting some pretty nice pops during that tag match with Cesaro Cruz, Del Rio, and Sheamus. That was actually a little bit more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. I was happy, but there was definitely more attention on the Del Rio Sheamus.
Exactly. And what I liked is, WWE for so long has continuity problems. Be it, 1 week this is good, but the next week this is bad, blah, blah, blah. The fact that they acknowledge the League of Nations, the fact that, on commentary they did that, and then that Del Rio and Sheamus kind of played up that part. I like to see that. When WWE manages the long-term booking, I think it's so much better. Obviously, you have more consistency, you have the continuity, and stuff doesn't seem like they're just kind of pulling it out of their wazoo trying to figure stuff out. You know what I mean? So there's that. But again, speaking of continuity, one thing that and I said it earlier about Steph, that I don't like about her character, and I'm going to run it by you here because we did talk about the opening promo a little bit and I kind of forgot to touch on it. I don't like the fact that Steph is sitting here belittling Dean Ambrose. He's a disgrace of a champion. He's an embarrassment. He's this, that, and the third. When not only are you a controlling partner on screen, off the screen you play a pretty important role. And for Stephanie's character to sit here and complain about Dean Ambrose after she complained about Seth Rollins and then not say anything about Roman Reigns, I mean, are you trying to hint that you still want, that the authority wants Roman Reigns as the champion, even though he had this policy, this violation of the policy? I don't feel like that sends a consistent message,
right?
And I just wanted to get that out there.
No, and I agree with you too. The deal with Stephanie McMahon, the one thing that has been driving me nuts, and here's the continuity word again that we're using. It's kind of like we'll put that in the subject line for the title of the podcast a little later. But she flip flops. She one week she's that the positive character, the positive GM. She tries to be nice. The authority is behind her, and then she flips it and is like, "Oh, Dean Ambrose, you disgust me." I'm like, pick a freaking side.
Yep.
Pick a freaking side, dude.
Being positive and seeing the power of positivity, as Bray Wyatt. I mean, the New Day would say, because that was interesting. New Day dressed up as the Wyatt family, right? Let me ask you something. All seriousness, all PC aside. How quickly do you think Twitter would revolt against the WWE had the Wyatt family dressed up as the New Day completely in blackface? I mean, seriously, are we thinking that we'll get anything more than Bray smiling before all of a sudden Twitter just shuts down because the WWE had some white guys come out dressed up as black guys? I mean,
yeah, I don't know about that, but what I can say about the and that was a good segue, by the way, kind of going into this
the positivity,
the positivity. The beginning of the New Day segment, man, had me laughing out loud. And listen, like, I've read people on Twitter and say that it was childish, it's not funny. Screw you, because that was hilarious. I was laughing, man.
Yeah,
and then
y'all couldn't see it, but Josh had the little vein popping on his temple saying "screw you."
Oh yeah. So what was great too? They had the unicorn horns.
Yep, as the torch. Dude, that hit every point. It was perfect parody.
Yeah.
I mean, even down to the fact that what I like the most is that they didn't even give it Braun Strowman any type of credence, because you had Bray obviously dressed up. I mean, Biggie dressed up as Bray Wyatt. You had Kofi dressed up as Eric Rowan, and then Xavier Woods was dressed up as Luke Harper. They didn't even acknowledge Strowman, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, I mean. My favorite part, and I mentioned it last week, that I'm looking forward to this feud. My favorite part of this feud is just how both teams are polar opposites. Bray's a very serious, straightforward individual. The New Day is, kind of clowns, for lack of a better term. They're just clowns.
Right.
They're out there having a good time, having fun. Nothing wrong with that, obviously, but it's going to make for a great feud. And I think last night we saw the beginnings of that. I love the fact that they may have moved away from that supernatural bit with Xavier Woods, and they're kind of painting him as more fearful of Bray than necessarily being controlled or anything like that. So that was a good touch. But dude, I think after Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, that's another feud to watch.
Right.
That's going to build to some great things. I mean, other than that, like we said, most of Raw was pretty much filler. Rollins and Cena and Dean and AJ having the main event matches. I mean, those matches were great. We talked about them a little bit more. I just want to say one more time with the Rollins and Cena match. Even taking away the fact that some of the other stuff on Raw last night was kind of meh. Easily match of the night, Rollins and Cena. We've seen it on the pay-per-view a couple times, but like I said, I can't get tired of them. Watching them wrestle, man. Yeah, they
got great chemistry. They're polar opposites as far as styles are concerned. Seth Rollins gets a lot of the high spots, and John Cena is John Cena.
Yeah.
But they complement each other
really well
in the ring.
Really well.
So we know the result of the match. It was Rollins getting over. Cena
via distraction. But Cena still has lost 2 of his last 3 matches.
That's correct.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they play with Cena here going forward, especially after the brand split. It would not surprise me if Cena AJ 2, Cena wins, and that might be the end of that feud if they end up getting drafted separate shows. We'll see how that plays out.
Cena loses.
I think he needs a couple more losses before we can start saying that.
That's true.
And then Dean AJ was a good match, but again, it was. I feel like it was kind of ruined by the obvious interference that was going to happen later in the match that did happen. Dean still won, but at the end of the show, the heels actually stood standing. Yeah. You had the club standing over John Cena, and then you had Rollins, who's somehow still playing the heel in this feud. I don't understand how he didn't fail a policy, but anyway, you had Rollins standing over Dean to end the show. So again, Raw was a filler episode, yes, but if like you said, if we look it through the eyes and come in with the expectation that it's not going to be their A game, they're kind of waiting and seeing to see how the dominoes fall after the draft to really get into some deep stories. So if we keep that in mind as we're watching these next couple of episodes here, let's not freak out. Let's stay the course, and I think Raw will be more enjoyable by that. If you just keep that in mind, it's gonna be pretty much meh. So, moving on. That's Raw. Brand new thing that we want to bring to you guys, because we did talk about this podcast not being just a WWE podcast, not just a Raw review. We are a wrestling podcast that's not soft. So, with that in mind, we've got a new segment called Josh's New Corner.
Josh's News Corner.
News Corner. Sorry.
It's also new, too. So that can work.
There we go.
So we just got three topics that we're going to go over. First topic that I want to mention is Brock Lesnar on the cover of WWE 2K17. The the annual video game for WWE. What are your thoughts on Brock Lesnar gracing the cover?
Love it. Love it. I anticipate, Paul Heyman being a little bit more involved. Maybe something along the lines of helping write, similar to the Spike Lee joint that was on NBA 2K, some type of career mode story in addition to what already is built in 2K16 and 2K15. That's going to be fun to look forward to. Where ultimately maybe you crescendo. You're not necessarily going after the WWE title, but then you end on a match with Brock Lesnar, and Heyman kind of betrays you, whatever the case may be, something like that. I do think that Suplex City sign that was kind of on Goldberg's chest during the release of him being pre-ordered, during the announcement of him being the pre-order bonus, alluded, wink wink, nudge nudge, to the fact that Brock Lesnar was on the cover. It wasn't necessarily their rematch, but I'm excited, man. I like some of the Easter eggs that were kind of in the background there. Big Show Men's Warehouse type deal, and the DA from Dean Ambrose was kind of in the O for the pre-order bonus. If you look at the screen, a couple little Easter eggs, and that's really what I like. But dude, I'm excited. 2K17 is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, and also again, we could have a Brock Lesnar showcase mode this time, chronicling Brock Lesnar's career. So that'll be fun. Moving on, the Cruiserweight Classic. For WWE, it's a great opportunity for cruiserweights from around the world to showcase their talents on a WWE platform.
Now, when is it that they're going to start airing episodes?
July 13th.
Okay.
They are starting to record already. Some pretty interesting news though with their first night of recording. There was news of a empty house. Pretty much, there weren't very many people. So when they started, they were supposed to start at 6:30. It started at 7 p.m. or close to it, like 6:50. But the reason being was there's nobody there, so they had to readjust people's seating, get it to where it looks better on camera, which was fine for the moment until people with reserved seating began showing up, and so the people that they rearranged, they had to rearrange them again and give the people the spots that they paid for. And so there was a little bit of a delay getting the show started, which was kind of like we said, a debacle. But
did you hear Hulk Hogan's statement on that?
No, I didn't.
He said those cruiserweights can cruiserweight, brother.
All right. It went over my head.
Okay.
I'm sure.
I'm sorry. I'm sure.
So, moving on from that, because
please quickly move along.
My final option, or my final deal for news is: did you notice on the show that they kept referencing to Dean Ambrose as WWE Champion and not WWE World Heavyweight Champion?
See, that was just subtle enough that honestly I didn't catch that watching it through, but after reading a couple things online after the fact, a lot of people were alluding to that, and they were also alluding to something about the GM, where they're not going to be called GMs, they're going to be called the COO of the respective brands. So that's interesting, but why is that distinction special?
Well, I think that we are going to have 2 world titles per brand. They may bring back Big Gold.
Love
Big Gold. And I actually really love the Big Gold belt too. Do I really support the 2 titles? No, I don't like the idea. Does it make sense for how they're planning on the show? Yeah, it does. But I prefer to have a floating world champion among the 2 shows. But if they bring back Big Gold, I'm okay with that. A little peek into my history. During the Monday Night Wars, I was actually more of a WCW guy. I went to
WCW.
Right. I went through to Monday Night Raw, or not Monday Night Raw, Monday Nitro, and so that was the belt I was used to seeing, was Big Gold, and so kind of seeing that, it's kind of nice. But other than that, that is Josh's News Corner. Closing in on the end of the show this evening, a few things I want to plug in. The show for a second time. Things I want to plug in for the evening is go ahead and head to realestguyspodcast.com. There you can listen to our podcasts.
We got a website.
We got a website.
Right, sorry. I only had 2 lines.
Are we done?
Yeah,
okay.
we're done.
All right. So go to our website, realestguyspodcast.com. You can listen to the episodes. You can watch our YouTube videos. Actually, some great things in the work as far as YouTube videos are concerned down the line. You can also check out some merchandise we have at redbubble.com. We have mugs, we have shirts, we have pillows.
Of the throw kind.
Of the throw kind. So, just some cool stuff. You can also contact us through our website, too. Everything is through there. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher. However you want to reach us, we are available. But go ahead and head to realistguyspodcast.com for those sorts of things. And one final thing.
Dun, dun, dun.
We do have a third person that is going to be joining us July 12th episode of the Realest Guys podcast. That's in 2 weeks.
That's lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7.
So who could it be?
Who? Yeah, so we got a third guy who's joining. You can say he's pretty sly.
You sandbagging. Yeah. That was clever. I like that.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, it has been a pleasure. House cleaning. So after the draft, our podcasts are going to be posted Thursday nights instead.
Yeah. We're going to be switching up the schedule a little bit. We will be covering Raw and SmackDown following the draft, as both will be airing live. So we'll take our time out, push back the release date a little bit on that. And like Josh alluded to, we'll have a third guy here. So we're excited to introduce a new voice to our podcast and to you guys. We've got some other things in the works, so make sure you get in on the ground floor. We've got a lot of big things happening, and I'd hate for y'all to miss out on what we got in store for you guys here in the future. Other than that, I mean, Josh said it. We've got a YouTube. We're out on Twitter at Realest Guys PC. We're on Facebook, Realest Guys PC. We have that website that you guys can hit us up at any time. You can email us at info@realestguyspodcast.com. Other than that, I mean, you got anything else, brother?
Yeah. And if you don't subscribe and you don't follow us, there's only one word to describe you, and I'm going to spell it out for you. SAWFT.
Soft. Later.